Hello and welcome. I'm Robin Smith, the founder of this Rock Your Relationship movement and training coming up. And we're in my Facebook group right now, and some of you may be watching on YouTube, so welcome wherever you are. And if you're here with me live, put a hello in the chat. Let me know where you're listening from. Today we are talking about I have 9 biggest communication mistakes for you. 9 biggest communication mistakes. And we're going to cover the first 3 today. I'm going to do 3 more tomorrow and 3 more the next day. So keep coming back to look for that. And so let's dive in. And actually, before we do, I want to let you know I have an opportunity for you to take this all to the next level. And so stay on to hear about that. It's totally a free opportunity. So that will come at the end of this short teaching tonight. So the first 3 I want to teach about are blame, criticism, and defensiveness. So let's launch into the first, blame. Blaming is a very popular communication, we call it mistake, because if you think about why you're communicating in the first place, why might you be beginning a communication with somebody? What are you wanting? So put that in the comments. What might be your intention for starting a conversation? And in most cases, the basic thing that everyone wants is to be heard, to be understood, to be seen, and to connect, right? So when we blame, and what's blame? Blaming is pointing the finger, is looking for fault or the cause, and it's usually out there. We can blame other people. You left the toilet seat up, you forgot to pick up groceries, you were late, or we can blame the government. That's not fair. They didn't think of me, they didn't support me. We could blame the environment. It's the rain is too wet, whatever it might be. We could find lots of ways to blame. We can also blame ourselves. So we could say, it's my fault. I did that again. I shouldn't have done that. So I'm trying not to criticize at the same time because it's easy to do. But I'm separating for you blame from criticism. So this is blame when we point out fault or the cause of something, whether it's internal or external. So put an I do that in the comment if you tend to do that. And for me, I was raised in a household where blaming was common. So who left the lights on? Who forgot to put away the chicken? Who forgot to turn off the heat? So it was often about resources. And so what about you? Like, where did you learn to blame? Blaming is common in our culture, so it's easy to pick it up and then carry it forward. And it takes really being mindful that we're doing that in order to change the pattern. But let's look at why blaming is not so great for your relationship. If you want to connect, if you want to feel seen and heard and understood. So why do you think? Why might blame not be ideal for your healthy relationship? A main reason that I see and experience is that when we blame, we're likely to not cause someone, but someone's likely, if they feel blamed, is likely to get defensive and to argue. I didn't do that. That's not my fault. Well, you did this. So what blaming does is it can escalate a situation into a conflict. And so it's pretty much the opposite of what most people want when they want to have a conversation or they want some kind of connection or to be understood. So when we blame, we're likely to create distance instead of connection. So you can put that down, distance instead of connection. Okay, let's move on to the second mistake, which is criticism. And by the way, these are in no particular order. Criticism is a little different from blame, although they often go together. So criticism is when you are making someone themselves the fault or the problem, and attacking their character or their nature. So instead of pointing the fault to their behavior, you did this, you shouldn't have done that, and the kind of you statements of blame, criticism is more like, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're forgetful, you're not caring. So criticizing kind of more their nature, who they are, that could be their personality too. You're so loud, you always talk, or you always shut down. So these are criticisms. They're often you statements again. And there's a similar problem with criticisms as there is with blame, in that when you criticize someone, it doesn't feel good, and they're likely to want to defend because they're protecting themselves from what feels like an attack. So it's likely to get into, an escalated situation with a power struggle or an argument. And then again, more distance from that experience. So if you want connection, you want to avoid criticizing. So if you want to shift your criticism, put "I want to shift that" in the comments. And it's totally great if you're doing that live with me or in the replay. I love hearing from you and knowing how you're responding and if this is making sense. And you're welcome to put any questions here, and I'll come back and look for those when I finish, and I'll respond to you. So please put your questions in the comments below. And let's move on to the third one. So number 3 is defensiveness. And I've already touched on defensiveness, that we're likely to get defensive when we feel blamed or criticized. And what is defensiveness? It's basically a self-protection. So we all want to be liked. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be perceived as a good person in general, because we want to be liked and accepted. And so when that's not happening because we're getting blamed or criticized, especially if we don't agree with what's being said, we're likely to get defensive. And the defensiveness looks a lot of different ways, but especially in regards to blame and criticism, it can look like I already shared with you, that's not what I said. Well, that's not what I meant. Well, I only did that because XYZ. So kind of giving excuses can be part of defending. Like, why were you so late? Well, I had to do this, and then I had to do that, and then this happened and that happened. So that's one kind of defending, like not really acknowledging your part. So notice how you feel when someone's defensive with you. When to me, it feels like a wall, like someone's kind of pushing back and putting up a wall, and I can't really reach them as well. And so to me, it feels again like there's distance happening. They're pulling away, or they're fighting with me, and then we're not connecting in the way I might like. So that's my experience of defensiveness. And put a note in the comment for you on what it feels like for you when someone's defensive with you. When they're pushing back in some way, they're arguing with what you're saying, they're making an excuse. They're not, not that we have to agree, right? But we want to hear people. We want to understand what they're saying without always having a pushback. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to say, that when we blame, criticize, or defend, all of those can create more distance between you and the person you want to connect with. And so this is especially considering those situations where you want a connection. Now, if you don't want a connection with somebody, if they're threatening to you, if you don't feel safe with them, if they're a stranger and you need to protect yourself, that's different. But we're talking about when you want connection, and then these are the things that, are in the way of that, or causing the opposite of that. So do let me know if you have any questions, and until I see those, I will share with you this opportunity that's coming up. You may already have heard about it. It is called my Rock Your Relationship Communication Training. And this training is free, and it's for women only. And if you're in my Facebook group, that's where it happens. It also happens on Zoom if you're not in my Facebook group. But the training is going to actually give you communication skills to deal with these communication mistakes that I'm sharing about now. So you will learn how to manage someone's defensiveness, how to speak in a way that's less likely to cause defensiveness and conflict, how to get heard and understood, how to create more closeness, and how to create a deeper connection over a longer period of time with people you care about, among other things. So it's a pretty rich training, and it's normally something I would charge about $300 for, but you're getting it just next week when it's offered for totally free. So I hope you take advantage of it. It's all online, and it happens right here in the Facebook group or on Zoom. And if you can't make it live, there are replays for a short period of time. So I'm going to put that link right now in the comment section in Facebook, and I will put it on wherever else you might be watching as well. Let's see. So there it is. So you can click that to sign yourself up. It just takes really probably 20 seconds to do it. You'll just put your name and email, and then you'll get the information about when the training is happening, how to show up live with me. And you do have to register to participate fully. One thing that's really fun about the training is that there are prizes. So every day I give prizes to participants. And if you fully participate throughout the whole training, you're going to be eligible for my $2,000 grand prize, which is $2,000 worth of relationship mentoring with me. And so that's a pretty yummy prize. And a little bit more about what you can expect is each day I offer one or two teachings around a communication skill, and I invite you to go home and practice it, whether you practice it at home or at work or however you do it, and to come back and report about how it went, to ask questions, to get feedback. And what I've noticed as I've been doing these trainings is that people get so much out of it, not only from me and my teachings, but from each other, because they're interacting, they're reading each other's comments, they're learning from each other's questions and the answers that I give to those questions. So it's really about the interaction and the forming of the community. And because we're all women, there's a feeling of safety that we create together, a feeling of I've got your back, I support you, I'm with you, I know that experience too, you're not alone. So it's a really wonderful way to learn compared to like reading a book or a one-on-one experience. It's a group experience. So we grow and evolve together. So I really hope you will join me. Click that link below and grab your spot. We start September 12th, 2022. And it's just really fun. And it's about just an hour a day. So it's not a big chunk of time. You can get a lot in a short period of time, and you can actually transform your relationships in this 1 week of training. So I really hope to see you there, and look for the next video on the next 3 biggest relationship mistakes tomorrow. Bye for now.